Welcome to lesson 1.03, Styles in Art. Today we're going to talk about how artists can create artwork in very different ways and how those differences help us study art history. There are two big ideas that I really want you to remember them today because you will see them again on your quiz. Before we start, here is your week at a glance. Make sure that you are doing all of these items every week. Okay, so and what is an art style? An art style is the way an artwork looks or the way an artist chooses to create it. For example, one artist might try to make a portrait look very realistic, almost like a photograph. Another artist might use unusual colors, simplified shapes, or even make the subject look distorted. Neither way is automatically better. They are simply different styles of art. Think about clothes for a moment. We can recognize clothing styles because they have certain characteristics in common. Artwork is similar in that way. There are thousands and thousands of artworks in the world, so art historians need to organize them. One important way they do this is by grouping artworks to their style and their time period in which they were made. So let me say that again. Artworks can be grouped by their style and by the time period in which they were made. For example, artworks created during the Renaissance often shared certain characteristics. Artworks created during Impressionism share other characteristics. Grouping artworks this way helps us understand what artists were doing and what was happening in the world when the artwork was created. We don't organize art history based on how expensive artwork is, how large it is, or whether people personally like it or not. So remember, style and time period equal an important way that we study art history. Okay, and we just went over, there's just a visual of what we just talked about. So let's talk about an important event called the Armory Show. In 1913, a huge art exhibition was held in New York City. Many Americans were used to seeing artwork that looked fairly realistic, but at the Armory Show, they saw something unusual and exciting, new styles of modern art that artists in Europe had been creating. Some of the artwork looked very different from anything Americans had seen before. There were new shapes, new colors, and new ways of showing people and objects. Some people loved it, some people thought it was strange, but either way, people were talking about it. The Armory Show had a major influence on American artists because it introduced them to exciting new styles of art from Europe. That is an important idea to remember. Let me say that again. It introduced them to exciting new styles of art from Europe. The European artists weren't copying American artists, and the show certainly didn't convince everyone that art had to look realistic. Actually, it did the opposite. It showed American artists that art could look very different from traditional realistic artwork. This encouraged American artists to experiment with new ideas and new styles of their own. So here's your final review. Art style is the way an artwork looks or created. Studying art history, artworks can be grouped by the style and time period. And the Armory Show introduced American artists to new styles of European art. If you remember those three things, you will be in great shape for your quiz. Great job, everybody, and I will see you in the next lesson.